Hello, YouTube. I'd like to talk about the second most heartbreaking phone call that we who work in a wine and spirit shop get on a regular basis. The most heartbreaking is the one that goes, "Do you have any Blantons?" That one's easy to answer. By the way, no one has Blantons. If they do, it's because they're pricing it according to the secondary market, which means if you find one, that's why they have it, right? So you can complain to them that, hey, the price, whatever price they're asking, which can be stratospheric, is not in line with retail, and they will not care because, well, I mean, it's pretty simple actually. Somewhere out there, the family patriarch is asking for just a bottle of his favorite bourbon, which for some reason he can't find anymore in the nearby shops, and that's all he wants for his birthday. Just some bottle of bourbon. It's out there somewhere. It's easy for his family to find. So, and they will go out there, and they will spend $300 for a bottle that was kind of not worth 50 when they were charging 50. And that's why you can't find Blanton's or Weller or all this other allocated stuff. That's why. The second most heartbreaking question, which is almost as common, runs some variation of this. I am looking for a special whiskey / red wine for a special anniversary / birthday, and I need it to be of a particular vintage or a particular age, high age, and the budget for this call varies, but generally it's under $200. Very often it's under $100. So let me just walk through the difficulties behind this question. Basically, you're asking for a unicorn. You're calling up shops and you're asking for, because there's so much demand for high-end old California cabs or Bordeaux's, that kind of stuff, as well as Scotch. The for the big names, at least the Macallans and the Springbanks and the Bowmores. Those have all, prices on those have all been pushed up again into the stratosphere. You will either, it's possible you will find like a whiskey, say, with the budget you're asking for, but what it's going to end up being is maybe like a grain whiskey, or like a no-name space cider, like a, I don't know, a Duff Town or something, a Strathmill, one of those, or it's maybe a blend or something like that. It's not going to be what you're expecting to find, because no one's going to sell you a 30-year-old Macallan for $200. It's not going to happen. So you're going to have to compromise on either the sort of thing you were asking for, or the age vintage thing, and probably your budget too. So more than likely, you will be compromising on the vintage aged part, and also probably in your budget too. Here's how it's going to go. You're going to call some shops to ask if they have this unicorn you're looking for, and the honest ones will say, no, we don't have that, and we can't get it. The others, who are a little bit more desperate, are going to tell you, oh, okay, well, we don't have that right now. We'll put some phone calls out. We'll try to get it in for you. Meanwhile, you will wait, because you gave yourself time to find this thing, right? It wouldn't be totally easy, so you gave yourself a little while. But you're going to wait for them to give you the call back to tell you that they got something. And then you're going to call them in a panic the night before, like the day before the big day. And they're going to say, oh no, well, we couldn't find that thing, but we got this other thing, which is pretty good, even though it doesn't sort of meet your requirements. And then you're going to either go there or to some other store, and you're going to blow a huge amount of money on, a whiskey or a red wine, which is, doesn't have the vintage or the age thing that you're looking for. And it'll be fine. It'll be nice, right? It will, it'll be special enough for your special occasion, and that's all you need to ask. But there's another way to go about this, which is to compromise on the kind of thing that you were looking for, rather and to keep the requirement for age or vintage and budget, and just give up on the red wine whiskey thing. Because, I mean, the only if you're looking for a 30-year-old hardcore red wine, well, I mean, you can get something that's going to be dead, sort of undrinkable. You might find that on a couple auction sites or something like that, or you will get something that or whiskey, say, as you will get something that is just so woody it's unpleasant to drink, or you'll get something that was in dead wood, or you'll get like the blend or the grain whiskey or whatever, subpar whiskey. Let's say you're willing to go to some other category to look for this thing, which is, in your birth year or your wedding year. What categories offer those possibilities? Easy, brandy. Let's start with brandy. You can go, particularly France, but not just France, but I'm going to focus on France. You can go and get vintage old French brandy for under $200 forever. I mean, okay, I know you, okay, so first you're asking, but I don't like brandy, it's too sweet. No, the good stuff is not sweetened, almost never sweetened, once you get outside of the sort of big names, at least, which you should be doing anyways. So, let's start here with the first example. I bought this from Prestige Liquors in Countryside, just west of Chicago. Lionel Osman, Boz Armagnac, entirely 100% Baco. That's one of the grapes. Distilled in 95, 23 years old, bottled in 2019. And bottled, you will notice, at cask strength. I paid this. They had this on a shelf for about $70, and even after I left with my bottle, like the shelves were full. Like no one was buying this stuff. They were all getting bourbon and whiskey and other things. Because people just look at brandy and say, I don't like. I had a bad experience with Courvoisier in college. I'm not going to bother with that. That's why you can still get it, because that is your initial reaction. Bend your expectations. Bend what you're willing to explore, and you can find little gems like this. Is it the best Armagnac I've ever had? No, but is it special enough for if you got married in '95 and you want something nice to drink for an anniversary? Absolutely, this is terrific for that. It has that little bit of specialness to it. What else can you get? Well, here you go. This is a Mar Palmas brandy from the Languedoc in France from '75. This is Domaine de Pouzet. I just gave this 91 out of 100, which is the highest score I've given a brandy in a very, very, very long time. Now, you can only get this for the moment in Europe, but there's going to be more stuff like this. There's going to be more like oddball Calvadoses and Mars and things of that nature, because they're really good. People are going to find out. People are going to find out about these, and the importers and distributors are going to start taking more bets on stuff like this, and so it's going to come out. And they're good. I mean, these are seriously good products. And finally, you might also think about exploring. Most cities have some kind of like wine auction auctioneer, and a lot of them also on the side do what I'm going to call like a warehouse retail business, where they don't actually have a store, but they have a warehouse, and you can order stuff online and go pick it up. For example, I grabbed this Bellevue Boz Armagnac. Also bottled, I think, at cask strength, from 1966. I got this off Hart Davis Hart in Chicago, because again, no one is really caring about these yet. The press is starting to pick up a little bit, but there's not a big market yet for French brandies. So you can, like all of these, you can get well under $200. Both of these were around 70. I mean, come on. So, and so good luck finding whiskeys these good and and this old for the same kind of budget. The other option, if you're looking for wine, what's wrong with dessert wine? So here you go. This is a Montbalzac from southwest France, little ways further southwest than Bordeaux, but made in Bordeaux style, made in a Sauterne style. I actually like these a lot. These sort of little Bordeaux dessert wines. They tend to have more Sauvignon and more of those other sort of lighter grapes in them than which gives them kind of more aromatics, makes them a little bit fresher than the Sauterne, even though they can't age quite as long. The thing is, dessert wines can age for a very long time, even if they aren't, of the greatest possible prestige and lineage. This is a 2004. I got this off of Flickinger Wines, I believe, which is another warehouse retailer in Chicago. I would be shocked if I paid more than $20 for this. Now, so if your anniversary is in 2004, this is a great little option to buy and pop and enjoy, with some cake or pie or ice cream or anything like that. And if you're saying to me, I don't like sweet wines, okay, but you're gonna have to pay more money if you want something, like a dry red or something. There isn't the market just doesn't care about dessert wines that much right now, except for big names like, Sauterne and things like that. So you can kind of get a lot of these for a steal, and they just age really well. They go for a long, long time. But the king of these sort of general dessert wine category of things you should be looking for. And by the way, like what's great about these is they have a little bit of sugar on them, but they tend to balance that off with acidity, with other things going on, with other. These generally have the stuffing that you're not sort of feeling the sugar in this cloying, gross way that you remember from some of those wines you had in college, right? The king of this sort of shit. That's staying in. No edits. Oh no, it's all bubbly. Okay, sorry, Montbalzac. Okay. The king of the sort of vintage dessert wine category is fortified wines. Outside of vintage ports, which are kind of their own thing, and they're not made in every year anyway, so you may have availability trouble. Outside of vintage ports, there really isn't a lot of interest in fortified wines collecting. So again, you can get these pretty reasonable. This one is a Carcavelos from the coast of Portugal, which is kind of, you can think, I mean, this is almost a dead category, which is really cool. Most of the vineyards have been sort of plowed over to make condos and sort of, beach housing and stuff like that. So that's already kind of cool. But this is also, vintage dated. This is an 87. I bought this for my wife. I wanted to get an 89, but unfortunately the nearby Binnies didn't have it, so I said, screw it, I'll buy an 87 instead. This is actually pretty cool stuff. This is from Casa Manuel Bulosa, Quinta dos Pesos. Basically this is being distributed by House Alpens, who rum lovers will know as the guys who also distribute Smith & Cross, among other things. And so basically, you can think of this very, very simply as a kind of Portuguese variant on kind of semi-sweet sherry or even Madeira, actually. So it has a little bit more of that Madeira character to it than sherry. And I grabbed this for like $50 or something, which is seemed like a good amount to spend for my gorgeous wife's birthday. And I'm actually going to give you some tasting notes on this stuff. I mean, so what I love about Carcalevos, I mean, this is my only bottle, but what I love about this is it's kind of splitting the difference between a very oxidative sherry and a lighter kind of Madeira, like a Verdale or something. It has more nuttiness than the Madeira would have, and more full body to it. Yeah, definitely like bags and bags of nuts and nutshells, and the dried fruit thing. But there's more acidity. There's more tang to it than I tend to get on, your run of the mill Oloroso. So it's kind of splitting those differences very well on the palate. Oh God, that's good. Give me this with I mean, honestly, just some really good like chocolate chip ice cream, and I am set. Um, it does have some sugar, but it's not cloying. The acidity and the kind of grape pulp, grape skins, uh, prune, raisin, like sour, almost sour prunes thing going on, with a little bit of lime in there as well, and then the sherry oxidative notes, the nuttiness, sort of industrial kind of characteristics of this. Even a little bit of a mint characteristic, especially on the nose. Oh, that's lovely. I don't really rate wines. I don't have my WSET levels yet. But if I were rating wine, I would give this like a 93. This is really good stuff. And if you were born in '87, and you're looking to spend $50 on a special bottle of wine, here you go. All you have to put up with is it's not a California Cab or Bordeaux or a Barolo or any of those things. It is a Carcavelos fortified dessert wine. Anyway, so that's what I've got. If you were looking for these special bottles, you can compromise on the vintage dating age thing, and that's okay. You can get something special that way too. You can get a nice bottle of bourbon, a nice bottle of scotch, and that'll be fine. Or you can explore other categories where you can actually hit that mark on the eight. Like I can buy 30-year-old tawny ports for under $100 all day long. I could probably get a 40 under 200. That wouldn't be too much trouble. Vintage Madeiras, vintage. Well, again, vintage ports are a problem, but late bottle vintage ports, you could probably pick up some of those from the auction sites again. Older Madeiras, like just on and on and on. These things that just are a little bit off the radar for presumably some of the folks watching this. They really deserve more attention, and they are a better deal, in my opinion, than the whiskeys and the red wines that are sort of your option otherwise. And that's kind of my message here. So first of all, no, we don't have Blantons. No one has Blantons unless you want to pay $300 for it. Second, no, you cannot get a very special vintage aged bottle of red wine and or whiskey, but you could probably get a really good Mar or Calvados or Armagnac, or maybe even a cognac, or you could get a really terrific dessert wine, almost and even better, a fortified dessert wine. That's kind of all I got. Open your horizons. There's stuff out there. And it's wonderful. All right, thanks for watching, and cheers.